Hello. Guten Tag.
I was like, how do you say good evening in German?
Well, that's not Guten Tag, that's good day.
I know.
Guten Morgen is good morning, and in theory, Guten Abend might be evening, but I don't know that for sure.
That's definitely
close to Dutch. Guten Abend would be Dutch.
I know.
Anyway, hello everyone. Happy Tuesday.
The cat's out of the bag.
The cat's out of the bag. Well, we've been gradually exposing more of the cat over the past 10 days, so.
Now we have finally let the cat out.
Now the cat is free. The cat runs rampant. Good evening, everyone. We are so excited to talk to you all tonight. I know that there's probably not going to be a huge audience for this one, but I will say it doesn't matter. Because
We're still going to talk about it.
I just want to talk about it. I've been holding this in. You guys have no idea how long we've been planning this trip. Like, this was a trip that actually was canceled once before that we had to scrub, and then we put back on the schedule, and then we scrubbed again, and then we put back on the schedule for different reasons each time. But over the long haul, it's been since like our first trip to Disneyland. Shortly after that, like ever, our first trip to Disneyland. Shortly after that, we started looking into doing something like this.
7 years in the making.
It's closer to 10, actually.
Well, we went to Disneyland in 2018, 2017.
2017. So it's now it's 2025. Close to 10. When it gets above 6, you can start rounding up. Is it Guten Nacht?
That's definitely good night.
That's good night.
Is there an evening?
Good night. No. All right. We are working on our German, and I will tell you why. But before we get there, let's go ahead and jump to. Let me see if I remember how to do. Every time I do this, it's like the first time.
I feel like it's updated, or maybe I'm just.
It may have updated a little, but we are also just not the best at keeping up with technology. Okay. If you've never heard of us before, no idea what you're doing here, but welcome. We are Tim and Katie. We are Tim and Katie on Facebook, YouTube, and Blue Sky. Of those three, YouTube is our primary platform. Facebook we're on sometimes. Blue Sky we're on almost never, but I'm trying to fix that. The real Tim and Katie is our identity on Instagram and Threads. On Instagram, we're a bit more active. On Threads, we're a bit more sassy. And timandkt.net is our website where we'll post opinion pieces, SEO favoring blog posts to go hand in hand with the vlogs, and occasionally some news or some listicles, just little things to keep us entertained. We are finally taking a long overdue, long awaited, and long planned trip to Germany. This, as we said, this has been years in the making.
Years on the wish list.
It was actually something we wanted to do last year. Last year we celebrated our 5-year anniversary, not as YouTubers, but as a married couple. We've been together much longer than that, but married for 5 years. And that was supposed to be the big 5-year anniversary trip. However, a couple things fell out of alignment, and it just became more of a logistical and financial challenge than we wanted it to be at that time of year. So we didn't do that. Instead, we dialed it back in. And weirdly, I say that we went to Disney, which on paper is way more expensive, but the way we did it was not. No. So we've had a lot of time to plan and budget and save. We've put a lot of time and energy and money into planning this trip. And it is finally happening. And I'll tell you, a lot of people do not know how close this trip is. So for those of you who are just finding out about this today, we're leaving in 10 days. This is happening like soon. So yes, it will be Rust, Germany, one location of a couple that we'll be traveling through. What we're going to do tonight, just to give you guys an entire picture of what you can expect, we're going to actually take you through the whole trip from start to finish. And bear in mind, there are vlogs planned. Vlog plans often go awry.
Yes.
So we are going to try our best to keep up with this content-wise, as far like what I'm going to lay out for you. In theory, there should be a vlog for each piece of it. May or may not actually come to pass, but we're going to do our best. So our first destination, friends and neighbors, is not, in fact, Phantasialand. And on Instagram, we did the whole grid puzzle reveal, and Phantasialand, I won't lie to you, Phantasialand is what I am most excited about. Like, by far, over every other destination on this trip, Phantasialand is the place that like we both wanted to go. And we don't worry, we will get there and we will spend a lot of time there. But it would be foolhardy to go all the way to Germany and not visit Europa Park. So this is a beautiful image of two coasters playing together at Europa. I think it's actually Blue Fire with two trains, but we are actually flying into Zurich, right?
Yes.
Zurich, Switzerland. If we were going to travel like normal people, what would normally happen is if you're going from park to park in Germany, or indeed, in some cases, across Europe, what you would do is you would take the train. However, because we are traveling quite a ways and for quite a while, and we're taking a fair amount of luggage with us, it looked like it was going to be really complicated. And also, like, the transfers got a little bit hairy when we were looking at the train maps. It was just something that, like, if there was a way around it, we were looking into it. And this is one area where we splurged a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't have to spend this money.
Like, many people have done it. It's completely possible to navigate the train system in Germany. You just have to put your patient pants on.
Yes.
But we have a
finite amount of time
there. Yeah. We have the budget for it. We did decide, just like we did in the Netherlands, to get private car transfers.
Well, we made the budget for it.
Yes.
We didn't have the budget. Part of why we pushed this back is because, like, the more we looked at what we wanted to do versus what we could do, the more we were like, why don't we just, like, delay it by a year and let's really have the trip that we want to have. And another piece of this, by the way, is that for those of you who don't know, we are actually celebrating 5 years as a YouTube channel this year.
Yay.
So this kind of wound up being a 5-year anniversary trip anyway. It just, fell 1 year behind our actual marriage and instead celebrating YouTube.
And the reason we're flying into Zurich, Switzerland, is because that was actually I think it was the only place we could get a direct flight. And it ended up being either cheaper or more direct. I can't remember why we're not flying into Germany exactly.
Well,
do you remember?
Yes, I will tell you why. So for those of you who do not know anything about Europa Park, or perhaps much about Europa Park, it's in the middle of nowhere. Rust is farmland. There's nothing out here except Mock Ride's production factories and Europa Park, as well as like the surrounding farmlands and the small village that's built around Europa. So Rust is like not the southernmost, but one of the southernmost areas of Germany. And Switzerland, Zurich, is just south of it. So we were able to get a direct flight into Zurich. If we'd flown direct into central Germany, like Frankfurt, those direct flights did exist, but then we would have to travel south.
Backwards.
And then we'd have to come back, and we do everything kind of in the wrong order. We'll talk more about the order too. But we'll be flying into Zurich. We'll spend like an hour and a half in Switzerland?
I've been there before.
I haven't, so that'll be kind of a lackluster entry to Switzerland for me. But I will say that I'm expecting it to be not the Swiss Alps mountainscapes that you're seeing in all the postcards. Like, we're going to be flying into the northernmost part of Switzerland and traveling directly into farmland, meaning that most of our journey is going to be pretty flat. Once we get to Europa, we are going to be spending 5 days at Europa. That's a significant amount of time. Now, not all 5 of those days are going to be spent in Europa Park. So while we are traveling specifically to enjoy Europa Park and all of I think we counted like 22 coasters between Europa and Phantasialand. Yeah. If every single coaster is open, we will come back with a healthy bolstering of our coaster credits.
Yep.
One of them that just opened is Voltron Nevera, which you can see here against the Euromir, I think it's called. I'm really working on getting the German pronunciations down, so I feel like I'm butchering everything that I'm saying right now. But Voltron just opened last year, and while it does not, I'll be honest, like the POVs don't make it look especially smooth. It does look like a fascinating coaster as an attraction. Like, and it has so many different pieces.
Theming is definitely there.
That's the thing. At Europa and Phantasialand both, like, theming is key. Theming is part of everything they do. So as theme park enthusiasts first and coaster enthusiasts second, like we will be collecting all of the coaster credits. We'll also be collecting all the dark ride credits. Like everything we can do, we're gonna spend enough time in each of these parks to be able to collect as many different ride credits as we can.
Doing everything that's open.
I'm so glad that everyone seems to know what these rides are, because when we first started hearing about this park, granted like 7 years ago, but we had no idea that any of this was even out here. And I feel like it's gotten a lot more publicity since then.
Yeah, well, I think like just the idea of traveling and going to theme parks is not as wild to people as it was when we first started talking about doing it. It's still wild to our families, don't get us wrong. Every time we travel, they're like, oh, what are you doing? And I'm always like, well, there's a theme park in Germany we really want to go to.
We travel with theme park destinations in mind more often than not, but then we also, or not just theme parks, like adventure opportunities, like there's stuff. We were just watching a Downey Live video where we were like, oh, that looks really cool, we should do that. And that had nothing to do with the theme park. It was like a zip line in the middle of Norway. But, but like we travel with adventure, tourism, et cetera, in mind. And while we're there, we soak up the culture. So part of this trip, and we'll talk about it more on the back end, like we are going to be spending some time in German cities. I say cities. A German city, and soaking up kind of like what the culture has to offer, just spending some time like boots on the ground in another country too. But the theme parks are what get us these places. They're the draws for us. And while we're there, we get to enjoy everything else that the country has to offer. We try not to go places as Americans projecting Americanism. Rather, we try to go places as like explorers trying to soak up new cultures and new cultural opportunities through the magic of theme parks. So Europa obviously has a lot to offer us. We will also be spending one day at Rulantica. This is a big step for me.
I know.
Because I was not a water park person. When we planned this trip, and I will say, originally what we were getting a lot of our information from was Sean and Charlotte's Theme Park Worldwide vlogs. So finding out about Phantasialand, one of the first channels we stumbled across was Theme Park Worldwide, and watching all of those vlogs got us invested in, well, what else is in this area? And so we started with Phantasialand and worked our way backwards to finding out about Europa, and worked our way backwards again to finding out about Rulantica. And the reason that Rulantica is a draw for me personally, as you may or may not know, I don't love water. I like looking at it. I don't like being in it. But it is just as well themed as the theme park. Yeah. And I think the closest thing we have to anything even remotely like I think like some of the Poconos resorts near us have pretty well themed water park areas.
We haven't been in it, but the DreamWorks.
I was going to say the DreamWorks water park is probably the best themed.
What is it?
American Dream. Yeah.
I don't know if Mall of America has one too, but American Dream has the DreamWorks, which it does look really good.
It does look good. It's less themed than this. Like that is probably the runner-up that we have in the United States, and it's nowhere close.
And this opened as a pretty much exclusive indoor water park, and I believe it's still, the indoor portions do still operate probably, I don't know if I could say definitively year-round, but longer than maybe your average outdoor park does. But they keep expanding outside, and because we are visiting in the true summertime, we'll get to experience some brand new offerings at Rulantica as well.
And I will say that some of what they've expanded outside, they have since enclosed.
Right.
Like the little, there's a splash battle. This is very much a theme park based in water. Right. Like there are rides and attractions that are not just like body slides. There's like a splash battle. There's like a water carousel. There's all kinds of maddeningly cool and creative attractions. And this is the cool thing about Europa Park and Rulantica as a whole. For those of you who don't know, Mach Rides is a manufacturer of a number of attractions that we're really fond of here in the United States. Most of the best ones are roller coasters. I'm pretty sure Slinky Dog Dash at Hollywood Studios is a Mach, right?
I
Could
think
be wrong.
so.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that it's one. I know they've done
one
work
of the
with
rare
Disney.
times that Disney hasn't worked with Vekoma.
Yeah, Mach has done work with Disney and Universal, and they've done work with a lot of smaller theme parks or perhaps chain theme parks, Six Flags, Cedar Fair, which are now the same company. I call them Cedar Flags. Mach is based in Germany, and Europa Park is their testing ground. Everything in Europa and in Rulantica is constructed by Mach, and a lot of them are first of their kind attractions. So anything that comes to the United States as new technology, more often than not 100% of the time, but more often than not, it is tested and proven on the grounds at Europa or Rulantica. If it works there, they bring it here and to other countries around the world. I didn't know that Stardust was a Mach, but that makes perfect sense. That actually puts more confidence in Stardust for me, or it gives me more confidence in Stardust. Intamin has been hit or miss with some of the launches, and I know B&M used to be like a very reliable, smooth experience, and now it's starting to sounding like more and more.
Weird,
there's a little bit of rattle.
Their newer coasters are getting rattly before some of their old ones too.
Yeah, I think
Griffin is still smooth as butter.
I think it's to do with scale and trains. Like the type of trains can sometimes cause a rattle because the rail structure hasn't changed. Anyway,
not engineers.
We can definitely. I mean, yeah, we'll stir up some controversy by trying to talk coasters. We know a little, but only enough to be dangerous.
Enough to have a conversation.
Copperhead Strikes might be a Mach as well.
Oh, good.
So
that's a cool red.
All of this to say, Europa and Rulantica are where all of Mach's ideas go to test. And more often than not, they are received well. And like I say, then they are brought over here. Once they get the models more compact and they can start, leveraging better crowd flow at different attractions, that's when it really starts to become like an industry standard. But Mach has done some really, really cool things. And the splash battle at Rulantica, which I don't have a picture of, unfortunately, but it's the same splash battle that you see at like closest one near us, I think, is Legoland. And then there's the I know there's one at like Epic Universe with the How to Train Your Dragon Land, but they're all over the place now. There's one in Europa and there's one in Rulantica, and in both places they pioneered that technology. The carousel, I have no idea what makes it an aqua carousel, but I'm super excited to find out. There are water slides and lazy rivers and stuff here as well. Now, at Europa and Rulantica both, I don't want to make promises because things can go wrong. But from what we have researched, from what we have gathered, from what other people have done, we should be able to take the GoPro on the chest mount on most of the attractions in both parks. Whether or not that actually turns out to be the case, I do not know. And ultimately, no matter what the rules of the park are, the ride operators have final say. So if they say don't take anything on, then we can't take anything on and we'll roll with the punches. But we're going to try to bring back some like first-person POV for you to enjoy these experiences along with. Hello, Zoe.
Hello.
Welcome to the party. So with Rulantica, we do have a whole day planned at the water park that will be exclusively water park. They are on the same massive property, but it is like a Disney property. Like you can't bounce back and forth between Europa and Rulantica on the same day. It is.
Well, you can. You just might not want to.
Well, you can if you have a season pass, but you have to buy a day ticket to both places.
Well,
there's no park hopper.
Well, actually, I was looking at the website last night. No, there's no park hopper, but I was looking at the website last night, and they do have like a Twilight ticket that is like gets you in from like 6 to 10.
That's true.
And then they have like an evening ticket that I think gets you in from like 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. The hours of Rulantica are very interesting. They're open from like 10 or 9 a.m. till 10 p.m.
Yep.
Which, if you've ever been to a European theme park, That's kind of unusual. A lot of them close even in the summertime, 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m.
It's
so the fact that
longer than the
Rulantica-
actual park stays
the
open.
fact that
Like
Rulantica
Europa
stays
closes
open so
before
late.
this.
So I don't know if maybe the intention is people spend all day at the theme park and then hit the water park for a few hours. I don't know. We're spending a whole day here because there's definitely enough to do.
I don't know if I told you, but we do have a brief period in the what's it called? Like the spa.
Oh, like Hegedal?
Yes, that's what it is. Yes,
Hegedal?
I was not
I'm
even going
not
to
saying
try
that
to
right.
pretend
I
to
know
pronounce
it's
it.
I know it's got Y's and H's. I'll work on my pronunciation for the vlog because I do like to put some respect on these names.
I try
when we can.
I try, but this next bit I am absolutely going to butcher. So in 2025. 2 new attractions opened at Europa and Rulantica, respectively. Voltron was the new attraction at Europa. Actually, no, Voltron was last year. It's the Ed Mouse, like the Grand Prix. It's like a dark ride, but it's like a screen-based dark ride. It's like the Grand Prix Raceway. So we have a couple new things to check out. But at Rulantica, the interesting thing that's kind of more adult geared, I'm never going to be able to pronounce this correctly. Even though I practiced before here.
Just play what the Google Translate says.
I will try. Let's see. Let's see if you can hear it. Well, no, my Bluetooth is synced. So
oh, no. Never mind.
Swimapool. 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 Swimapool?
It sounds like swimming pool.
Swimapool.
Swimapool.
That sounds closer.
It sounds very close to swimming pool, but
I just have to listen to the translation.
But it's anyone who's been to an all-inclusive resort will recognize that as a swim-up bar.
It's Norwegian for swimming pool. That's all you need to know. But it's obviously more geared towards the adult crowd. So Rulantica and Europa as well. Like they have a full spread of like family attractions and adult attractions. But this area, it just so happened that 2025 brought this new area to Rulantica that we're very interested in. That we just get to we're gonna have to pay for drinks. There's not like a wristband, but we can swim up and we can have a nice time. And behind it, you can see like a play structure that is for all ages. This is all outdoor, but then the splash battle and the carousel that they built that were originally outdoor are now enclosed.
Yeah.
So every year they make this a more inclusive resort, and by that I mean like everything under one roof. It's not seasonal. Everything is open for as long as humanly possible. Yeah. This is obviously not going to be that way because this relies on sunlight to create the experience.
Who knows? Maybe it's a completely heated pool and they'll have it open in the winter.
Wouldn't that be great? Know. But the greenery will die on the roof. Well, that is a nice little touch that I think they brought.
But who knows? I don't know their plans. I just know that it's new. We're visiting in the summer, so it should be open for us to check it out.
It is exceptionally exciting.
I like the rock work.
I love the rock work, and that's consistent throughout the entire park. Now, before we talk about like the hotel that we're staying in and the rest of this trip, I will also say that Europa, just another reason that we're kind of grateful we wound up pushing this back. Europa is currently celebrating its 50-year anniversary. While we're there will be several celebrations. Now, this may make the park a little more crowded than it would normally be, which, bummer, but, we don't really travel based on crowd calendar. We travel based on when it makes sense for us. So, 50th anniversary brings parades, it brings special foods and drinks. It also brings, for a very brief period, which happens to be the window of time that we're there, a blimp overhead, a Zephyr that has been launched with like the Europa Park logo. So we'll be able to capture hopefully that at least one day. Now it could be raining the entire time we're there. And if so, whatever. At least that'll cut down on the crowds most likely. But we're very much looking forward to this. And the Europa, although it was not the ultimate destination that we had planned when we put this plan together, it is going to be a very fun couple of days to start a very fun trip. And it's going to be a lot of roller coasters, and I think we're going to have a blast. That water coaster, I'm not looking forward to at all, but we are going to have to do it. So.
The Rulantica water coaster?
No, the big water
coaster.
No, big, huge. It's an elevator lift. It takes you all the way to the top, and I can see on POVs all the time it like wobbles all the way up, and I'm like, oh, I guess I'm gonna die. All right, so it's gonna be. If nothing else, I'll tell you this: the vlogs are gonna be fascinating. Whether or not we get POVs, you're gonna have a lot of animation from me. We spend, I think, three full days at Europa, 1 day at Rulantica, or was it 4 days? Let's double check before I lie. This is a 2-week trip, by the way, guys. So we're going to be spending a lot of time at all these places. But I want to make sure that I'm not lying to you about when and where we're spending that time.
I don't recall exactly the dates. 3 days at Europa and 1 day at Rulantica sounds right, because I think one of those days is there's a transfer from our first destination.
2 3-day tickets at Europa, 1 day ticket at Rulantica. Yes, when we transfer into Europa, that will be the same day that we have flown for 9 hours and then driven another hour and a half from Zurich into Roost. So we will be tired.
So I think it's actually 4 nights at Europa, but wait. No.
It's not. It's July 3rd. It's June 28th to July 3rd.
Math is hard.
Think about the fact that we're going to Europa for 3 days. We have a night.
Plus Rulantica.
We have a night before at Europa where we're getting acclimated. And then this is how it's going to be on jet lag, by the way, too. Like, we're going to be exactly as tired as we are right now.
More tired.
More tired, maybe, but mentally I'm gone. So, yeah, I think it's actually 5 nights on Europa Park property.
Yes.
But of those 5 nights, 3 days in the park.
But the 5th
1 day at Rulantica.
Morning is when we're leaving for the next
5th morning is when we're leaving. And we do not have park tickets for that day.
No.
One thing that I think we will not have time for, there is like a fancy dinner experience that takes place off property. Well, on property at Europa, but not within the park itself.
The special dining package thing.
Yeah, there's like a 5-star, there's like a Michelin tier restaurant that is served and I don't even think you can vlog it, so we wouldn't even be able to take you along if we did it. It's a lot of money for a very short period of time, which is between those two things is why we're not doing it.
It wasn't on the bucket list for this time.
The point is, if you wanted to do more on Europa Park property, like you could make an entire probably 7-8 day trip worthwhile without ever leaving Roost. And Roost, as I said, nothing but Europa, a village, a factory, and farmland. So this is a park. This is a destination. While we are on Europa Park property, we will be staying at the Hotel Bell Rock. There are a couple of hotels. All of them are themed. This one is themed to, I think, like the American Northeast.
Yeah, I was going to say it's like New England.
New England, yeah. So there's
a lighthouse.
This maybe wouldn't have been our first thematic choice, but it was cheaper.
It was the price point was better. They have like a Roman Colosseum hotel as well.
Yeah, which did look cool. Colosseo.
Yeah.
And then there was there's like the Western Campground, which they just introduced like a new restaurant to, and they're really, really good at advertising too. Like they do a lot of really great Instagram campaigns that I get fed all the time, and I'm like, even this looks good, and I do not like camping at all. But this was, I think, of the various options. And within these options, by the way, just like a Disney resort, like you can get a really expensive room that looks really sweet. Or you can get a standard room that will serve your needs, and then you can go to the park.
We definitely were, I think of the accommodations we're staying at, this one's probably the one I'm least excited about. But look at it. It looks very nice.
And that's to say something like this is a very nice accommodation that we're least excited about.
It doesn't. We've seen vlogs of this place. It looks perfectly fine. It does have some, kind of fun theming. It looks comfortable. Not mad about it. Just I know it's coming later, and that I'm a bit more excited about. But again,
we still have more to talk about after Europa is come and gone. This will be our home for 5 nights, and I think we're gonna try to do a travel vlog, but it may fall apart depending on how tired we are. So like if we can make it work, we will try to do like a little bit of a room tour. We're not going to be doing any formal hotel tours while we're doing this trip, because you'll get bits and pieces of each room as we go. But Bell Rock, for the price that we paid, we got the Bell Rock room. We got 3-day tickets to Europa Park. We got 1-day tickets to Rulantica, and we have the sauna spa package at Rulantica as well. it really wasn't as expensive as it could be. Like this is
No.
far below Disney's stand, and I hate comparing everything to Disney, so I promise I'm not going to do it in the vlogs. But for our audience, I know that a lot of people are thinking like this looks very Disney. It is. Like thematically, it's on par. Price-wise, it's cheaper, which in turn makes it better.
Yeah.
Also, apparently, the breakfast buffet is amazing.
I
we
love
are
to
excited.
hear that. I love a breakfast buffet.
We
It's
are
one of my
super
like
excited.
splurges on vacation is to enjoy a breakfast buffet. So
We are super excited. Yeah, I will say we haven't thought too much about where we're going to eat, with one exception, and
Yes.
we'll get to that too.
yeah,
So every day is going to be an
Might need
adventure
to-
when it comes to like finding food.
I might start doing some research on places to eat in the park.
you
that are
have
good. Or
10
if you have
days.
recommendations, feel free to drop them.
You have 10 days.
Where
to
do
make
you
a
like to
plan.
eat in the park?
Oh, this
Honestly,
is, I would say this is going to be better than Hotel Breakers. Hotel Breakers is the Cedar Point.
yeah, I know what hotel. I know.
I don't know what you know.
He thinks I don't know what
I
Hotel
don't know what
Breakers
you
is,
know.
guys. What?
Ah, this is Home Park.
Well,
If you have recommendations
Please
on
drop
what we
them.
should eat or what we must do, please drop them. We
Yeah.
have 3 days to work around.
thank you.
So, Hotel Bell Rock, and then on the 5th day, but on the 5th year, we are transferring to Phantasialand.
Woohoo!
Now, this isn't the picture I used on Instagram. This is somebody's picture that I stole for the purposes of illustrating how cool the ride is. Thank you, whoever you are. But I will say that the image that I chose for the Instagram grid reveal, like so many people were convinced it was Epic Universe.
I know.
So many people, right up until the last second, thought it was Epic. And that's because Intamin built Terran, and they also built Hiccup's Wing Gliders, and the track looks similar, and the supports look similar, and the layout and theming look similar. So, Terran, you guys can't fathom. I love How to Train Your Dragon. I'm not talking about the live action remake, which I think is unnecessary. I'm talking about the whole franchise, the animated movies. They were like my favorite movies. I do think that Terran is going to absolutely blow Hiccup's Wing Glider out of the water. I think it looks like one of the coolest roller coasters ever, and not because it does anything super wild or unique, but because it's so compact, so fast, and so intense without being nauseating. Like everything that I've seen,
And the music sounds so cool.
and it has on-ride soundtrack too. Yeah, it's so.
I
good.
would hope they have on. We haven't been to Epic Universe. We haven't put plans on the calendar to go.
Santa Isabel
But-
Buffet Restaurant, Pizzeria in the Coliseo. That's true. We can hotel hop for food.
Food,
There's
yeah.
no reason we can't. Pizzeria
And Roma in Roost.
in Roost.
Is Aroma's not the fancy restaurant experience, right? It's something else.
I don't think so.
We're gonna look these
I'll
up.
double check. But
Thank you for these recommendations. We are going to take notes.
Yes.
But anyway, I would hope that the coaster in Epic Universe would also use How to Train Your Dragon's amazing soundtrack. But there
would be a
is
waste if it
something.
didn't.
We're going to do a future live stream.
Terran
on
is the original.
music in theme parks that's not
Hmm.
just like music from movies, because the original soundtracks written for some of the rides at
Asian
Europa.
all-inclusive buffet, not related to Europa.
Well, maybe that's where we should eat when we get in.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, because we won't have theme park tickets.
If we go there, we will credit you for the recommendation.
Yes.
Thank you.
we will.
we're making food plans as we go.
Yeah.
So that'll every day is a new adventure.
I'm coming back and screenshotting those later.
So to get off of Terran for a second, as we go from Europa to Phantasialand, it's like a 4-hour ride.
Yeah.
And we are commuting by private transfer, which means someone is going to have to come pick us up from Hotel Bell Rock and take us to Phantasialand direct. Now, that's going to happen fairly early in the day. So we get to Phantasialand and we have quite a bit of time to burn off on our first day. We do not have park tickets on our first day. So when we get there, we are going to be staying at Hotel Matumba, which you'll see in a second. And then later in the trip, a couple days later, we will be transferring to a different hotel. The new diner station at Silver Lake City camping.
Which is
Yep,
the
that's the
camping
one.
area.
That's the one I was talking about. The one that they just advertised on
Well,
Instagram.
You should be able to get to the resorts without having.
You can
a
hotel
ticket.
hop for
Yeah.
food, but I don't know how. And it's your home park, so please feel free to educate us. But I don't know how easy it is to walk between one hotel and another hotel. So if we have to go all the way outside the perimeter of the park and there's no like sidewalks, I mean we're used to
the thing is, like, I've seen so many vlogs from Europa, but I have no concept of
no one
where
ever shows the walking
hotels
bit.
are. I think I have a better concept of where the hotels are in Phantasialand.
You have my absolute assurance that if we vlog our travel day and we walk from place to place, we will vlog the walking, because otherwise no one will ever know how to do it. That's our problem. That's what we're up against right now.
Well, thank you for these food recommendations. If you have any more, keep them coming.
Ooh, that's an idea.
Ooh.
Europa does have a functioning monorail that acts as a transport ride, but also an attraction.
Okay. Well, we'll have to put some like arrival lunch. I don't remember exactly when we're going to get there, but we might need lunch and dinner on the first day. So maybe we could hit like the Aroma restaurant and do like the camping resort for dinner or something.
Stay awake that long.
That's true. We
crashed at 4 o'clock in the Netherlands.
It might be a go to bed at 7 p.m. kind of night anyway.
That wouldn't be too early.
Yeah.
It's interesting you mentioned fly though.
Yeah.
That's coming.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about this hotel. So
Matamba.
This is an image of Black Mamba, but behind it is Hotel Matamba. And Hotel Matamba, where we will be staying for the first part of our journey through Phantasialand, we do have a theme park view room. It is a family room. Now, I don't know what the difference is space-wise between a family room or like even like accommodation-wise between a family room and like a suite or whatever we would call it in America. But
the image might be distorting it, but it does look like a lot of space.
I'm sure, but that's what camera angles always do. Like, I feel like there's less space than is in this picture, but I also feel like we will have plenty of space. Like, I'm not deeply worried about it.
I'm going to be grateful for the amount of space we have in this room. I'll say that much.
Theming was a big part of why we booked this hotel. Because it
was kind of hard because there are like...
There's three. There's the Hotel Matamba, which is the African theming, and it's again not to compare everything to Disney, but for the audience members that I know are seeing what I'm seeing, it is very similar in theming to the Animal Kingdom Lodge at Disney World, which is one of our favorite properties. We stay there all the time, so this called to us on a primal level because we just saw this and we're like, oh, it's gonna feel like we're I
also really liked the idea of seeing the Black Mamba roller coaster.
That's it too. Yeah, at Animal Kingdom Lodge, you look out the balcony and you see animals, which is nice. It's nice. Don't get me wrong, it's great. But at this resort, you look out the window and you see Black Mamba zooming by. So that was a big part of why we decided. Ultimately, there's 3 hotels. There's Hotel Matamba, there's Hotel Lingbao, and there's a third hotel. And Hotel Matamba is where we'll be staying for the first half of our stay at Phantasialand. And by the way, let me double check this before I speak out of turn, but I am pretty sure, if my memory is not failing me, that we have 5 days at Phantasialand. And guess what? No water park here. That's all 5 days at Phantasialand.
We want to do everything.
We want to do it all, and I know we can't.
Possibly some things more than once.
I know we can't, but we're going to try. Yeah, that is the one thing about Lingbao that we don't have at Matamba. As far as I know, we do not have a pool.
Yeah.
That was the one, like...
I think we were like, we're going to do the water park day, because you also saw there was a nice looking pool at Bell Rock as well. So I don't think we're probably not going to spend a whole lot of... That's actually,
the one you're talking about is actually decoration.
Oh, it's
It's not for swimming.
Then never mind.
But we are going to be spending a whole day at Relantica. We might be all watered out by the time we get done.
Man, thank God you knew that, because it was going to sound really dumb. Again...
When you walk up on it, wow, but how do you get in it?
Again, I know so much more about your Europa park itself and what's there, not so much about the resorts, but we've done a lot of research on the Phantasialand resorts.
Yes.
I don't know why that imbalance is there, but
it is. Mostly because I think the the Phantasialand resorts, all three have more of an exotic adventure feel.
I
to
think
them.
they seem
Europa,
to be a bit more wowy.
Yes, Europa's hotels are more themed towards being
Yeah.
homey. Like, although like the idea of Europa Park is based around like doing Europe in one day, right? You're traveling all over. Oh, there is a pool at Bell Rock.
Oh, thank God, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. The one you're seeing outside.
So the one is the fountain show. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Woo.
Yes.
I was half there, sort of. Anyway, I think So I think we had a little bit tougher decision between the Lingbao and Matamba, but I think
the reason we
the
settled
theme
on
park,
Matamba,
the Black Mamba view kind of won out. Although I definitely will be there long enough. I definitely want to take a look around Lingbao because I think it does look really pretty and it has some pretty gardens and things like that.
It was also the breakfast buffet at Matamba looked awesome, like with actual like some African themed breakfasts, and that's why I was like having experienced some of that. Now, granted, Americanized at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, so might be Europeanized at
well, they're a little bit closer to Africa,
but they're a bit closer than we are. So I think that more care might be taken to make things more authentic.
If they've got some boba tie, that would be good.
Boba tie is good. Now, having said all of this, we are transferring mid-trip from one hotel to another. And since we've already established that we're not going to Lingbao, yes, we will be staying at the Charles Lindbergh. So the reason that we didn't do this the whole time, because the Charles Lindbergh, remarkably, is the only hotel that offers a theme park bundle. Every other hotel, you get the fast passes, which is going to be great. They only work on select attractions, but we can use, I think, one ride, one person, once a day.
Yeah, one ride per person for like 6 rides that you could use it on. It's not the...
Yes, but over the course of 3 days, we'll be able to get, between the two of us, 6 rides. If they're all the same rides, then we'll get 3 rides.
Yeah.
So it'll be worth it. Anyway, but Matamba doesn't bundle the actual hotel stay with the park tickets. Charles Lindbergh does. And Charles Lindbergh is a whole package that includes 1 dinner, consecutive reliable breakfast every time, and 1 time, 1 person per day early access to fly.
Which is the coaster you're seeing.
Which is the coaster you're seeing now. I know I'm covering it up with my face in the comments, but Fly is an amazing looking coaster. It honestly seems to be one of a kind as of now. I don't think anyone has replicated it anywhere else in the world. It starts as a traditional suspended coaster, or maybe even like a, I've heard, so you can't take cameras on rides at Phantasialand. That is the one downside. Honestly, sometimes that's better because I feel like people are less reckless when you don't let them take anything on. I do regret that we won't be able to take you on the rides with us, but we'll be able to experience them, and that will have to be enough. Yep. So having said that,
there are great places for a lot of off-ride footage.
Yes, we've not seen any on-ride. There are some who have snuck it on, but we don't endorse that. So we've not seen any on-ride footage of Phantasialand's Fly. But what I have heard from how it's been described is that it's actually more of like a kuka arm to start, like where you're sitting and you have like a bench underneath you, or not a bench, a seat, like a standard coaster attraction. And then it actually levitates and flips you into the flying position for a launch. This is a launched flying coaster that pulls several inversions over a very tight space.
And it is integrated into the Rookburg area.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, I know it would be weird if it was called Fly and it wasn't a flying coaster. I know it's a flying coaster, but how it starts, I'm confused.
It's not,
I've heard that it doesn't start, and you would know because
you've been on variations of Superman. You've been on Batwing, I haven't, Manta. And we've been on Manta. So we've been on flying coasters before, but the way this is described, this
nothing
is
even
unique.
Remotely like this.
And no flying coaster, I think, is integrated and built into a specific theme park area as uniquely as Fly. I mean, Fly is Rookburg, basically. And
Rookburg is Fly.
Yeah, it's staying here at the Charles Lindbergh, you get to, step outside of your door and watch flag. I mean, it's the ultimate theme park coaster view room,
which
as
is
far
why
as I'm concerned.
Which is why we had to do it while we were here, especially since it's a longer trip where we had. When it comes to money, like this is a splurge. Don't get me wrong, but when it comes to like the available time, resources we have, like because we pushed it back, we were able to do a much longer trip, and we were able to do the Charles Lindbergh as part of our stay at Phantasialand, which is a big deal.
But again, like at least 2 breakfasts, a dinner experience.
It's a good package.
Theme park view, early access to a very popular ride. Like they make the price like I think worth your while. There's also another reason, which if you've ever seen the Charles Lindbergh, why we didn't necessarily want to stay here. That's what I was going to get to. Yeah. All 5 nights, and that's because this is your room.
Tight.
It's a little.
It's tight.
They're very cool. They're very cool. I gotta give them all the praise for the theming and the dedication, but I'm going to get tired of this eventually.
We have, I think,
tight.
We have 2 or 3 nights in the Phantasialand. We have 3 nights, 2 days.
Yeah, and we're gonna be out in the park and we're enjoying Charles Lindbergh or whatever. Most of the time, it's not like we're gonna be living in the room, but this is definitely probably going to be the smallest little pod we've stayed in.
We have a tiny apartment, but it's not this.
It's not this tiny. I mean, obviously, we're going to be enjoying some 2 separate beds while we're, on vacation.
I actually am going to enjoy that though, because sometimes like it's just fun to do the I Love Lucy style.
I know, I'm going to be like, okay,
good night. Like immediately knock out and because you're not tossing and turning.
The bathroom is also kind of small and tight. So again,
but also like you can open your bathroom window and see fly go by. Like this is,
and also because of the theming, there's no like true windows. Like they're all little like peepholes.
Yeah.
So again, very cool for the theming.
It's a sensory deprivation room.
Looking forward to it, but I didn't want to necessarily stay here for 5 nights.
So the Charles Lindbergh package includes overnight stay in Aeronaut Cabin, as illustrated, delicious 3-course dinner once per stay per guest. So we have to pick which day we want to do that, but we have a voucher. Delightful breakfast included daily.
Delightful.
Admission to Phantasialand we have 2 2-day tickets that came part of our package. We also, and this is the part we didn't mention, we have early access to Rookburg.
Yes.
And late access. They will shut down everything but Rookburg, and the park guests that stay at Charles Lindbergh will have access to Rookburg. Now, here's the rub. They will also shut down Fly.
Yeah.
So you don't get to stay in Rookburg and ride Fly while no one else is there. But you do get the kinetic energy of Rookburg without Fly. You get the vibes. You get the theming. You get to take photos, which is a big part of what makes Rookburg so cool. It's very steampunk. So super duper excited just to be here and experience what there is. And I'll push it back to Rookburg again. This is like you can watch vlogs from not me that are right now like people have done this, stayed at Charles Lindbergh, and they have walked out on their balcony from their room and Fly goes by. Like that, you are so close to the action. You were integrated right in the middle of Rookburg. They did this long before Epic Universe had even been dreamed of. Like this was the original in-theme park resort. And this is so cool just to look at. I can't even imagine. I think I'm gonna cry.
I'm like starting to like get a little teary-eyed just thinking about it. I'm like, dang, it's like a dream realized.
It is the theme park dream. This is an interesting question. Is there a coaster that we're most excited about?
I mean, honestly, Terran and Fly are the 2 I'm most excited about.
I also, looking at the whole trip, I'm super excited for Blue Fire.
Yes, Blue Fire.
I would honestly say Blue Fire over Voltron Nevera, even though Voltron looks very cool.
Blue Fire, I'm more excited for than Voltron because of that video.
It's the spaghetti bowl. It's just the compactness of the trip. I think it's not going to be the smoothest.
Well, I was thinking Blue Fire, the video that Mock did, where they had put the spinning cars on the back of the.
I think those are still there. The spinning, the rotating cars on the back row, but maybe they're not. I don't know.
I don't know if
I'd want to do that on the first ride.
No, but
that almost would be its own coaster credit, in my opinion, because it changes the ride experience so drastically.
But
I will say also, one of the original reasons why Phantasialand came to my radar personally is because I love theme park music. I love listening to like ride soundtracks and ambient loops and we've been listening to Phantasialand soundtracks like the entire collected years, like long before they came to Apple Music and Spotify in our country. We were listening to them on YouTube.
We listened to Temple of the Nighthawk for like 2 years before we even realized the ride was gone.
You stole my thunder.
Oh, I'm
That's
sorry.
what I was getting to.
Tell your story.
You told it. It's over. Temple of the Nighthawk. While I understand, like, it was an absolute waste of space in terms of being a ride. Like, Temple of the Nighthawk, if you're unfamiliar with Phantasialand's history, and most of the people in the comments probably are, are local. But if you're unfamiliar, Temple of the Nighthawk was a retrofit of what had originally been pitched as Phantasialand's answer to Space Mountain at the Disney parks. So it started as a space attraction, then went to Temple of the Nighthawk. When it went to Temple of the Nighthawk, they turned all the lights off, they cleared out all the space theming, and they made it like you're soaring through an ancient temple in the dark. Now that ride experience is exactly as described, like you were literally just going on a roller coaster in the dark. But it had boss music, man. I was thinking the whole time, like, I would love to do this even if it's just a stupid ride in the dark. Just riding a roller coaster to the Temple of the Nighthawk soundtrack was so cool to me. Then I found out
it's Crazy
Bats now. Temple of the Nighthawk was gutted a while ago, and now it's a VR attraction now. It's more probably geared towards families and kids. But I will say, also, it's the same ride. It's just a different soundtrack. Yeah. So the Temple of the Nighthawk soundtrack is still available online.
You can just sing the Temple of the Nighthawk.
That's what I'm saying. Like I might just
ride it.
I might just like I'm watching the bats go, and I've never done a VR coaster before too. Yeah. So this will be our first credit of that nature. But I'm just thinking like while I see the bats going, I'm like da 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 da. I'm super excited though because Phantasialand has some of the best all-around music. I'm trying to think who the composers were. It's IMG Group, I think, or I might be wrong about that.
I have no idea.
I've been listening forever. Europa's soundtrack is less familiar to me, but we're trying to get into the habit of listening to both of them on like long car trips, of which we're almost out of those opportunities. Yep. So now the spinning coaster part is gone.
So apparently. It was testing testing grounds.
Testing grounds for.
Yeah, I know that video is a few years old. It just made us so happy to watch it. We watched it like several. It was one of the like things that made us happy during the thick of COVID. We'd be like, let's put on the Blue Fire video again.
I think that mock engineers have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's like across the board because it's not just roller coasters they get to test. It's like all kinds of rides.
Quit my job and be like, maybe I should go back to school and be an engineer so I can build coasters.
Wouldn't we all love to do that? Yeah, Volatarium is one of the ones that we listen to at this moment. The Flight Across Europe is a track that is played pretty regularly on road trips. So Europa's soundtrack is not as widely available on like conventional US platforms, but I go to YouTube for almost all my music now, so it doesn't matter. If I can find it, I listen to it.
I know. I don't know. I feel like I'm very excited for your Europa Park as well. I mean,
I just wanted to start with Europa when we planned the trip because we knew that Phantasialand was where we ultimately wanted to be.
Yeah.
And although it's much smaller than Europa in the entire layout as well as like the number of attractions, it is, I think, it's where our happy thieving hearts want to be. Like, and so like Europa,
we want to have the time to sit there and just listen to the Rookborg soundtrack for you know, a while.
I 100% will sit in there for that whole extra 45 minutes or whatever and just enjoy the vibes. Like that's most of what I want to do with those evenings. Oh yeah, Pirates of Batavia apparently has quite a good soundtrack. I haven't heard it yet, but and here's my question. How does it compare to De Vliegende Hollander at Berlin? Because that is one of my...
Is it a bop?
What
did we call it? A banger.
Slaps.
We called it a banger.
It's a banger. All right. So obviously the point of these trips is the theme parks. But as we said, like while we're in Germany, it would be a shame not to explore a little bit of German culture. So on the 5th day, we will be picked up. I think
well, it's not our 5th day.
Sorry.
The 5th day after of Phantasialand.
Yes, our 5th day of Phantasialand. Our 5th day waking up on Phantasialand property. We will have another private transfer taking us to Cologne, which is not far off from Brühl, which I hope I'm pronouncing correctly, which is where Phantasialand actually is. But Phantasialand is in the middle. It's much, again, not to compare everything to Disney, but Disneyland in the US is very similarly positioned. Phantasialand is surrounded by a city on all sides. So commuting out of that area, most people would take the train. We, again, are having a private transfer collect us so that we don't have to worry about hauling the luggage back and forth across multiple transfers. We're going directly to Cologne, where we will be spending 2 nights and 1 full day. We'll be staying, this is less important, but just so that y'all are aware of what we're looking at, and maybe anyone watching wants to give us a hint as to what we're looking at. The Excelsior Hotel Ernst in Cologne. It should be fairly close to the Rhine, or at least walkable. There's not a whole lot of like adventurous theme park style attractions in this area, so this was more of a soak up the culture kind of day for us.
Look at the architecture. There's like a very famous like cathedral that's there. I think you can go to the top of the spire and look out.
You can, but you have to do it early in the day, or else there will be a long line up a long winding staircase, and it will be very unpleasant.
If we get to that, we do. If not, we're just planning to, after 10 days of theme parking, we wanted to take it a little easier.
I don't think we'll be taking it especially easy either, because there's stuff to do in Cologne. Like there's a lot of walking. We talked about doing an actual Rhine River cruise on the Rhine River, because we live very near Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, where we have a fake Rhine River and we cruise it all the time and say, wouldn't it be fun? We'll see the Rhine River. I don't think we'll be cruising it, but there's lots of stuff near the Rhine and in the Cologne cityscape that we're interested in from a cultural perspective. There's a chocolate museum. Also, Cologne, many of you will know what it is, came from Cologne. It was manufactured first in the city of Cologne, which is why we call it Cologne. So there's a lot of history to soak up. There's a lot of cathedrals.
I literally learned like this year, because I don't know why I always thought it was made in France.
Because it's a very French practice.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I learn new stuff. I do not know everything.
This is why we travel, is so that we learn new stuff.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool.
We, as I say, like we try our best not to be Americans Americanizing everything when we travel places. Like we go places with an open mind, with a couple of vocabulary words that we've practiced so that we can be courteous and respectful of the people around us. We try our best to take the camera along and document things as best we can without being rude to others. So there will be all of that on this trip, from theme park to hotel to water park to hotel to Cologne.
And I might get these numbers incorrectly, but I think, for 3 days in Europa, we're planning to do 2 vlogs, and I think a non-vlog day.
Yep, same for Phantasialand.
We land a couple of vlogs. We only have 1 day there. We want to show you guys. And then Phantasialand will be, I guess, 3 vlog days and 1 non-vlog day.
That's the plan.
Yeah. And again, we did that with Efteling as well. So
again, plans fall apart. So I'm not going to promise any of this, but this is the plan as of now. One thing that went wrong, and forgive me if I'm mispronouncing your name. I'm going to say Yannick. If it's Yannick or if it needs to be repronounced, I apologize. Our only international theme park experience thus far has been Efteling. So, and one of the things that we learned when we traveled to the Netherlands and Toverland, yes, we did a Dutch theme park trip. One of the things we learned when we traveled a couple things we learned. One, your bodies don't take the strain and stress of jet lag quite so easily in your 30s as they did in your 20s. So we did build in some rest days, but also, there's a possibility that we do fall ill while we're traveling, because we're going on low sleep for a long time in a strange country where the climate's a little bit different. And if that happens, I can't guarantee that the vlogs stay on track.
No.
But I will say, like, we're going to bring you guys all the content we can. Yannick, confirmed. Thank you for all your help tonight, Yannick. We appreciate you.
Yeah, it's so nice to have a Europa and Phantasialand expert, and it being your home park. We really value your recommendations.
Yes. Questions and recommendations for Europa we need to be going to. Pretty much.
I'm screenshotting those food.
We will absolutely try those
later.
places.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is the plan. We'll see how closely we stick to it. Well, the itinerary is locked, but the vlog plan, we'll see how closely we stick to it. We're going to take you guys along for as much of this journey as we can. Again, trying to be as respectful as possible to the people around us because we are not locals. Not like in our own parks where we can be as annoying as we want.
Blatantly obvious we're not locals.
But we are super excited to explore more of the world and to meet new people and to experience new cultures. And it's a big part of why we like to travel. We also like to experience new roller coasters and rides and attractions and cool, fun, amazing theme parks because, quite frankly, the US is behind the times on theming, and Europe seems to have it on lock. So we're very excited to see what some of the best themed parks and best theme parks in Europe,
best themed
and best themed have to offer. Before we pack it in tonight, I do want to highlight our creator of, well, I guess it's every other week. So our creator of the every other week. This is our associate, Michelle, who is an Instagram mutual follow that we've been keeping up with recently. She's Latina based in Los Angeles or very near the SoCal area. Does a lot of Vegas content, does a lot of Disneyland content, does a lot of LA content. Very, very good at putting together short mini narratives in reels and giving us new things to be excited about in that area of the US. So happy we found her. It's been fun seeing where she's been going, and she's going new places and growing every day. So help her grow by following her on Instagram Threads. And if you have it, TikTok, I do not. So I'm counting on you for that. Our next live stream, if all goes to plan, will be a trip report.
Yes.
Coming back from this. And that will be on July 15th. The reason that we will not have a live stream 2 weeks from today is because once again, we will be in Germany. So anyone who has recommendations that you want to drop into our feed, our DMs, please do. We'll do as much as we can while we're over there.
Or, comment them on this video as well if you're watching at a different time.
That's what I meant by feed, but I couldn't get the words out. So thank you for filling in the gaps. Thank you to everyone who joined us. We are so excited, and I know this is going to be an amazing trip no matter what. No matter what happens, no matter what we experience, no matter what goes wrong, it's going to be a great trip. And I hope we're able to bring a tiny sliver of the magic we're going to experience back to you at home.
Yes.
And thank you, Yannick, for popping on and giving us
so many good tips.
A minor education on Europa, because I feel like I've learned a lot in the last hour that I didn't know before.
Making me so excited for hotel breakfast, because let me tell you, don't know if you've been to the US, but an average hotel breakfast in the US is not all that exciting.
It's disappointing.
Like I will say.
I think food in the US just in general is kind of disappointing, to be honest. I know that when we traveled to the Netherlands, the Dutch said repeatedly that their food was very bland and flavorless. And I was like, what are you talking about? This is the best food I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, but I was also just really excited about eating croissants and cheese for breakfast too.
I can see where you'd get tired of it if that was your everyday. But again, part of why we do this is to familiarize ourselves with how other people live. And so this is going to be a fun theme park trip, but also a fun explore the world and learn more about other cultures trip. So that is one of the things we're most looking forward to. Anyway, y'all. Oh, the Fanta. Like Fanta, don't you want to?
Yeah, it's way different than, I think I had at least one in the Netherlands, but I'll have another.
You said it was like actual fruit.
Yeah, because it's not
fruit flavored.
It's more like orange juice, like squeezed orange juice.
And we have
And
to
a
try an
soda.
authentic bratwurst as well.
Yes, I love
Which would be
brat.
good for me because I've grown weary of the ones that are served at Busch Gardens.
Well, I think that's kind of like
it's low tier.
yeah, theme park food in America can be hit or miss. Yes.
Yep, Fantas actually on.
No, I'm definitely, and it's
I'll do it.
typically, and it's a lot of times it's real sugar too. I think like it's not like
Sugar substitute.
fructose syrup or anything like that. Yeah.
Well, on that note, we are going to go ahead and sign off. Thank everyone for being here that was here. If you're watching the live stream on replay, thank you for listening in. We are so excited to bring new content to you very soon. Until next time, I've been Tim.
I'm Katie.
And every night
is a new adventure.
Gute Nacht.
Gute Nacht.
Hopefully we said that right.